we can hop right into it. So, where are you from?
I am from Houston, Texas originally. That's where I was born. Uh, spent a lot of time in Dallas, but now I'm here in Nacogdoches, Texas. It's a real small town.
What did you listen to growing up?
I listen to mainly rap music, For me, it was a lot of Lil Wayne, Kanye, a lot of the normal shit.
Right. Yeah, I feel that. I was definitely on that wave. It was whether it was on the radio, honestly, because I didn't have access to the internet yet.
Oh, no doubt.
Do you think your environment or any of that music really affected how you create today, or?
I want to say yes and no.
Okay.
I want to say it more so. It has less to do with influencing me and what I create, rather than it's like my roots per se.
Right.
And for me, when I look back at it, it's just I like to see how far that I've come from that, and that's what I mainly think about when I think about what I listened to back then, because I listen to way more shit now, and I'm way more open. And I wouldn't want to go back to, what I was listening to back then. So,
right. What have you been listening to recently?
Oh, man. Recently, I've been listening to a little bit of Zeke Ultra, Amir put me on. A little bit of Elijah Banksy, also Amir. Outside of that, mainly been listening to, like, YL and, Mount Hami.
Okay.
That's because that's what I listen to when I'm at work.
Right. That makes sense. Speaking of Amir, how did Preem Bilal come together?
Oh, man. All right. So, Amir, he's talked about how we formed No Clue to begin with before, and how, like, we just all were in a chat. So, essentially, Preem Bilal was whenever we formed No Clue, and we had 5 members at the time. So we made Preem Bilal so that way we could have something that we do together as a duo. If you go back, technically the first Preem Bilal song is Work Rhymes. And then we made 1,000 Winners. And then after that, we were just like, why not make a duo? Like, why not make it an official thing? Soul Controller was the first song labeled under Preem Bilal. And it was kind of underrated for a long time, I feel like.
Yeah, that's a fire song. I know the one you're talking about. That shit's hot.
Thank you.
So when did you start writing?
When I started writing, I hate to be like the cliched, like I started writing when I was 11 years old, but pretty much, yeah. Right. I started writing when I was about 11, and then I stopped for a minute because I go in waves, to be honest, throughout my whole life. Like, there are times where I like to be more of an artist, and there's times where I like to be a listener. I just like to listen. So that's what it was. I just wanted to, like, listen for a long time. I wanted to see what was out there. So yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Like around 11. How do you think it's changed since then, if anything? Or, like, how did that little breaks of listening really influence you?
The little breaks really help me every now and again, because I always get stuck writing-wise. And I feel like every time I come back off a break, my style has changed or improved a little bit. Because if you go back to Work Rhymes, that sounds way different the way I'm rapping on that versus like Capo, or even Capo versus Venom Drench. Like, those are two different things, and those were all after breaks.
Okay. How long do these breaks usually, like, do you have to, like, set a time before you go into it, or is it just more of a feeling?
It's definitely more of a feeling, because here's the thing, like, when I make music, I don't ever want to force it. And I feel like That's just how it is for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I hear a beat and then I'm feeling it like that, I'm gonna write to it, and I'm gonna write what, not necessarily what I feel, but what I think I could do best on that.
Okay.
Because certain songs I can write in like 5 minutes, and that's a song. Like Capo took me like 5 minutes to write.
Oh, wow.
Other songs I spent more time with, like Hoops. Hoops took me off and on like 2 days, just because I felt like some lines weren't working. Like the version of Hoops that's out is there's different lines on there than there is when I originally wrote it.
Okay. How did the Grace from, because you mentioned a couple songs off of there, how did the Grace from the Great One project come together, and why release it like when you did, if that makes sense?
Right. Okay, so in August, I believe that was the time that I had put out my last song at the time, August 2019. I put out Greetings from the Great One. I put it out because it was my birthday, and then I wanted to put a song out. But for 3 months, like ever since then, I hadn't been on a feature but 1 or 2 times, I think. But I hadn't had any solo songs ever since that point. So I took a break from music, and then I came back, and I was like, Riley, like I gotta make something. I really feel like I gotta put something out. It's been a while. And to that point, I hadn't had a project out yet. So if I could put together a little EP, then I felt like that would kind of fill that void, of me being gone for a while. Because if you think about it, at the time, everybody else in No Clue was going up at the time. Riley, Bart, back at that time, Jordan, Horace Raw, he was in there.
Mm-hmm.
And Amir was going up. So I felt like I was kind of getting left behind a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I had to come back with something,
Fire. Definitely. Do you see being in No Clue as sort of like a friendly competition thing? Is that sort of like a big inspiration for you? Yeah.
It depends on the track, because a lot of the time, me and Amir, we have like a goal for a song. Like this one, we're gonna bar out, and it's never. I mean, yeah, we're competitive, but it's never. We don't ever like take it too far where it's like, damn, I'm killing you on this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it's never like that. It's never like that.
Right. How is it sending songs back and forth like that? Have you worked in the studio with any of these guys? Is there a preference for you in terms of those two?
I have not worked with any of them in person yet. And it's kind of unfortunate because, Amir lives up in Virginia, Riley lives in Maine, Bart lives in New York. So, like, a train ride away for all of them, but I'm all the way in Texas, right. So I don't know when I'm going to get to link with them, but it's been overdue, to be honest.
For sure. Because through a couple, through a couple of your releases, you have references to, like, designer fashion. Like, you have Gianni off of the EP, and then you have Lift Your Home, that single. Did that scene have a big influence on you, or is that just coincidental?
I tried to get into it a little bit, but the problem is, I ain't got money like that.
Oh, no.
So it's like, it's hard to be interested in something that requires that much money to influence the hobby. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't feed into it. So that's why I kind of like, I had an interest in it, there's actually somebody that like, I'm kind of like adjacent to, and I'll see, like fashion shit through him. What he like retweets is, this guy, his name is Jordan, Christoph Dawn. And that's pretty much how I got like exposed to some shit. But Versace's Versace, Dior Homme is Dior Homme.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that I feel the same way about collecting shoes. I like looking at the shoes, but then I look at the price tag and I'm like, oh, fuck it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it.
Sure.
So is there a story behind the Grace from the Great One cover? How'd you pick that one?
There's a great story behind that.
Yeah.
Okay, so The town I live in is a college town, but I don't go to school here. There is like an art studio / like building. It's really low key. I feel like a lot of the people who live there don't know about it. So one day, a few months before grade 1, I was driving by and I see the statue. It's a statue. It's just right there, posted up, broad day. And I was like, you know what? If I ever put something out, I wanna use that statue.
Okay.
So after grade 1 was finished, I said, you know what? Let me go swing by back there, and I'll take pictures of it. But I wanted it to be during nighttime because I feel like nighttime suited it better. You know, I just took a shit off my phone. You know, I do all my covers and shit off my phone because, you know how it is.
Yeah, for sure.
And, yeah, fun fact, that statue is no longer there.
Oh, yeah.
So now it only lives on through that cover.
Fire. That's sick. And they were big? Like they were outside?
Oh, yeah, it's bigger than me.
Oh, shit. That's crazy. Going back to how you kind of moved around a lot within Texas, do you think that kind of travel influenced you at all? Or do you always just see your environment as just somewhere where you stay?
That's a good question because I feel like depending on how long I get to stay in these places, the more established I feel, the more I feel like that is home. But even though I'm not really a fan of like where I'm living right now, like this is still home because I have, you know, my family with me. And as long as I have that, you know, it's fine.
Right. Yeah, I feel that. I just moved out to Tennessee, and I'm like, oh, everyone here is racist, but, like, it's where my dad is, so, like, I'm not gonna, I can only complain so much because I get to hang out with him. Yeah, because you don't really have that Texas sound, I guess. You know what I mean? So how do you think you got into that sound that you have now, the more of, for lack of a better term, the lo-fi sound? I don't know if that's how you would describe it, but...
Well, okay. See, I make the music that I like listen to. That's the thing. Like when I make something, I make it something that I like as well. So what I'm giving y'all, that's what I like listen to. Like I would like to listen to me, you know what I'm saying? You know, and I think it's more so like it's also kind of okay, here's the thing. It also helps because Riley lives up north and he has that sound, and so does Bart. And so because I work with them, you know, it's a little bit easier to kind of shift into that. On top of that, I didn't really know any like fire producers for a while, like down here. Now I know a few, and like hopefully I'll get to work with them at some point, but at the time it was like I had to outsource.
Right. Shit, I had a question that I wanted to ask. We'll go. What's next for you? What do you have? What have you been working on? What do you have coming up?
What I got coming up? I got me and Amir working on some more shit, you know, as per the usual. Under wraps. I'm working on a little EP with Argov.
Oh.
So I got that going as well. I teased Midnight Oils a long time ago, me and Bart. That's still going to happen. It's just, you know, Bart gets a little bit busy in his life because of what he does. And it's a little bit hard.
Yeah.
To sit there and, like, when every day is killing him, you know? So, you know, so you can expect those.
Good. Awesome. Yeah. What is your beat selection like? Like, do you get sent like packs, or do they kind of make stuff? Because you have this tight circle of producers. Do they kind of make stuff specifically for you, or how does that work?
Probably the one that knows me the best is Riley. Like, Riley will make something and he'll be like, I think you'll sound good on it. He'll just send that one beat over. Bart will do the same thing. But he's also been known to send packs. And Argov, man, let me tell you, Argov, he does not play when it comes to the packs, man. He sends like 20 beats.
Oh, shit. Do you like the packs better when you have the 20 to select from, or what's your preference?
Well, it's like this. Sometimes it just depends. A good beat is going to be a good beat. For instance, Levy, that's a beat that Riley just sent me, just a one and done. And I made it a song, so that means I really liked it. Hoops came from a pack, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, it just kind of depends. I think with packs you get a little bit more freedom, because there's more options for you to choose from. There's more of a possibility there's something you're gonna like. But sometimes those one and dones, man.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Do you need the beat to start writing, or do you just have verses kind of ready to go like that?
See, I do both. Sometimes I just start writing some shit, and then some other times I have to hear the beat to really know what I want to say. For instance, Venom Drench, that is something I just wrote one day on one of my off days. No beat, no nothing. And I had been sitting on it for like 3 months, because it originally was going to be for this song on Cakewalk that ended up getting scrapped. So I repurposed it for Venom Drench, and I mean, it just fit.
Definitely. Yeah, Venom Drench is a sick song too. I fuck with that one a lot. Have you ever got sent a beat that was kind of got you out of one of those listening phases? Like, you kind of heard a beat and you were like, okay, now I gotta write to this like right now, even though I'm in this kind of listening area.
Oh, for sure. Definitely Levy. Definitely Levy, because I hadn't made a song since Rip Dior Home. And that was like January, I want to say. So it took me like 4 months to make something else. Definitely that one. I guess by that same thinking, you could say Hoops did the same, because that is the one that sparked it all.
That was the one that made you start working on the Grace from the Great One EP?
Yes, sir. I had Hoops, and then I made Gems, and then Gianni is actually okay. So Gianni used to be to a different beat and it had a different name, but I had scrapped it a long time ago because I didn't necessarily like the way that it was, and then Riley had flipped it over a different beat and it sounded way better. So I was like, yeah, let me have that. And then Capo, I wrote, like 5 minutes. So then I had 4 songs, and then I included Mass Malone and Russian T because I felt like the mix that was on SoundCloud was not up to par anymore. So I felt like it needed a proper, mix.
Right. So do you have a lot of, like, I guess for lack of a better term, like throwaways, or do you have, like, are you just constantly kind of recording, or how many songs is it important for you to have songs kind of tucked away, or you just kind of record when you want?
No, because I get impatient.
Okay.
I don't like to be sitting on songs if I can help it. The only exception is Cakewalk, because that one, it was like 5 songs, and like, I had the majority done. I think it was just 1 or 2 songs maybe that I wasn't completely 100% finished. But I have demos. I posted a snippet one day of the title track, when I was like, my young princess graced the cover, quite blessed, stress slipped in the seams, that one. That's from the title track,
Okay.
Cakewalk.
Okay. Okay. And Cakewalk is like a project you're working on, or?
Nah. It was an EP that I was gonna drop a few months ago, but I ended up scrapping it because okay, so like I started off really strong, and I was like, yes, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use these beats. I'm gonna get these features on it. You know, I had Metro World Peace. I had Tony Tone. I had Amir Bilal. You know, but just because of like the course of events, by the time I had everything in, it had been like a month or two. And I was just kind of like not feeling it anymore. I was like, well, I don't know. I don't really feel like putting this out at this point.
Okay.
You know, I feel like as an artist, you can kind of do that. The only people I feel bad for, I feel kind of bad for Pepper, honestly, because it's not like I didn't want to work with him. He's really fire.
Yeah.
I feel like we definitely got to work and put something out. Because it's like I had it, but you know, by the time that it was all 100% ready, I was just like, I'm not feeling it the same.
Yeah. Do you think that's because you just like your music to be as up to date on your life as possible, or is it just another like feeling thing?
It's a little bit of both. I like to be current, as in like I like things to feel fresh to me. For the most part. Now, if I was sitting on a song and I felt like it would come back in handy months from now, I guess that'd be different. Like if I'd be like, okay, well, the end goal is this, and I know this is gonna take months on end. But that wasn't the thing with Cakewalk. Cakewalk, I was trying to make quickly, and that's why, because it took a while to put together. I just kind of gave up on it because it was like, it doesn't have that feeling that I spent time on it for it to take this much time.
Okay.
If that makes sense. It didn't feel right.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Kinda. I mean, as much as I can, I never tried to put together a project, but what you're saying makes sense, you know? Do you, so when you're going to work into a project, do you need, like, the beats and, like, kind of already ideas in place before you really start working on it? Or how would you say that process is like for you?
It's, a lot of the times, I'll hear a beat and then I'll be like, okay, I want this one on there. And I'll just keep doing that process until I get through the packs or whatever, you know, my stock, what I got on hand. So then I'll start writing, and then I'll be like, I'll keep track. I'll have like, okay, so I got something for this. Now I just need a hook on this one, or I got a verse for this. Let me see if Amir can do something. And then I'll be like, okay, until the project is finished. And then ordering is kind of like the easiest thing. And like, if I ever do get stuck, I always ask Amir for help.
So is that, how would you say you kind of pick out the features for something like that? Is it just like kind of like, oh, this person would sound good on this beat, or is it more of like, you know, kind of just working on it and then you get a feeling?
A lot of the times I can hear like who I want on it from the jump. And then some other times, you know, it'll just come to me. Like, I feel like we need, you know, such and such. Let me see. Like, okay. There are beats that me and Amir are sitting on right now. That we're like, okay, this person would sound good, or this person would sound good. And it's pretty obvious. Like, if when these songs come out and they have the features we are intending them, then you'll hear it, you'll know.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's all the questions I have, man. I think I appreciate your time, And thank you for coming on, and I'm excited for whatever comes out next, man, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, 100%, man. I'm glad we can make it happen.